How do angel and private equity investors perceive the clean tech, green tech industry? How do they manage their investments? And which opportunities do they care about?
I think clean tech domestically is pretty broad.
By broad, he means wind, nuclear, smart grid, solar, energy efficiency.
Where I think there's the greatest amount of opportunity within clean tech is really energy specific. There are opportunities that are created both from incentives at the federal level and at times at the local, whether it's state and municipal level as well, which have been very effective. They're challenging to learn, but they're very effective in incentivizing the development of renewable energy, wind, biomass, and for me more particularly in solar. And I think it's at the very beginning.
For clean tech. The outlook for clean tech in Europe is currently a challenged one. And the reason for that is that there's an overhang of capital still available to be invested in this area and a limited number of opportunities. The vast number of opportunities in the past have been driven by high capital intensity and by government subsidies. In the last few years, we've seen budgets being challenged in Europe and the subsidies being cut, which has ruined a few investment opportunities, has actually risen the capital requirements for a few companies, and has led to quite a few pure clean tech investors having rather bad IRRs. Some of them have held back some of their firepower, some of their money to invest, and hence there's an overhang. We expect that environment to change and to improve over the next 2 or 3 years.
$50.8 million fund, of which we're pretty much fully invested at this point. And companies in that portfolio that would be notable that you may have heard of: SolarCity, BrightSource Energy, the solar thermal power plants. We as a firm do not like to invest where there's fundamental technology risk. So we're okay with things being pre-revenue. We're okay with things, not being fully baked, but the fundamental technology risk should be out of there before we'll invest. So what does that mean? Typically, it's sort of like a Series B or Series C. We'll almost always invest as part of a syndicate because that helps spread the risk.
Our risk appetite is typical for this kind of investing, meaning we have a limited number of investments. So we have, I think, currently 11 investments. We have no tolerance to losing these investments. There should be no risk of losing our capital. That also means we don't aim to have a 10x or 20x return, but rather a 5x, 3x return, a
Since
steady
we are in
return.
a niche sector, this allows us to focus and do targeted investments. 75% of our investments are initiated by us rather than the entrepreneur. And we follow extensive research. We do approximately 600 companies we look at every year, and we end up with about 2 to 3 deals. And we have a very clear exit strategy on day one, which is to exit in 5 to 7 years. And the companies we look for are companies that can grow at 15 to 20% EBITDA margin. Our due diligence is extensive, taking anywhere from 12 to 18 months. We are a minority investor and we are okay with having a minority in the board. But we evaluate the leadership team before we invest. We use the GH SMART approach, and if we're not satisfied, we push for change, including in the board, before we invest.
Our network, because we've been around this space since 1996, so people know Enertech as one of the predominant firms focused on energy technology. So we don't have any shortage of deals. We've already seen 2,000 deals this year, and we don't invest in all 2,000. Obviously, we have done 8 deals total in the new fund, which gives you a sense of how many rocks we overturn before we actually make the investment.
How would they be able to get in front of you for consideration?
Well, it's usually our website. If someone's coming in cold and doesn't, they just know of Enertech, often we get a number of business plans that come in there, or investment bankers that know us. There's a pretty wide array of ways to get in the door. It's just whether are they really things that we're going to look at, right?